Hi, welcome back to your girls channel. I am so excited for this video. It's the how I did my makeup in high school challenge that's trending on all of us YouTubers. And of course, I had to be a part of it. I'm so excited. I know a lot of YouTubers were scared because we didn't have the brands and the colors and the choices and all the exciting things that the makeup industry has provided and how it's became so fierce. I love it. I love it that I'm old enough to know a lot, but yet still young enough to enjoy it and experience it. But yet I had that time as well. So I feel extremely, extremely blessed. I like the way I did my makeup in high school. Of course, I love it much better now because of, like I said, all the choices and the brands and all the bold colors. And that's just me. Blinky, shimmery, bold. I've said this in many videos. You know me by now. So of course I love this time and I probably would choose this time better, but I love the way I did my makeup back then. And God bless my mother's heart, because when I first started doing, my mother had me at an older age, which was 46. So by the time I was a teenager in high school, she was in her late 50s, early 60s. So it must have been really scary for her because she tried to raise me in the most safest, happiest, protective way possible, but at the same time allowing me to be me in the time that I was living in. And I thank her for the bottom of my heart. She was the most amazing, most perfect mom. I was blessed to have her as a mom, and I wish she was here to see how my life has evolved from my family to my persona, to my education, my career, to all the things that we have now. She would have been extremely ecstatic and extremely proud. And she loved doing her hair, so her baby girl could have did her hair. She would have been so ecstatic and proud that because she always knew I had a passion and a natural talent for hair and makeup, but to actually see me go to beauty college and get educated, become a professional, get my license, and see my collections, my passion, and what I do now, and how I do people's hair and makeup for quinceañeras, weddings, special occasions, and how, I mean, just she would have went over the moon. And unfortunately, she's not here to see it, but I hope she's seeing me from heaven. Don't want to get emotional, but yeah, she was the best. And so because she was like freaked out, don't go crazy, she didn't know that I was watching commercials. I was watching actresses on TV shows. I was reading and looking at every magazine out there. Plus, I had two older sisters. One was 12 years older than me, one was 16 years older than me. So they were my beauty guides. So by the time I was allowed to wear makeup, I was ready. I knew exactly what I was doing. My mother didn't know that. So she was pretty proud. And back then, I think the most boldest color we had back then was maybe the blues, and it was kind of getting away from the blues because that was more 60s and 70s. But I wore brown tones, green tones, pink tones, and peach tones. I stayed in like those four group colors. For one, they brought my eyes out because my eyes are hazel, catty eye. And so they brought my eyes out and they were just the thing to wear. And I loved it. So, yeah, so this allows me to go back down memory lane, go in time, and I'm talking about time. This is, God, like what, 30 something years. And so, but it's exciting because I get, even though I saw it in my head, I knew what I did back then and what I do now, but to see it to come to life is exciting to me. I'm not afraid. Like I said, I loved how I wore makeup back then. And so I'm going to show you a couple of pictures to show you kind of an idea. This is me and my cousin, by the way, my all-time only favorite cousin in the world. Of course, we're both older, so we don't look like this now. Love him to death. But my parents are strict. We couldn't have boyfriends till we were 18. We couldn't go anywhere with any guy. So they said if I wanted to go to my high school graduation party, that I'd had to take my cousin. I'm like, fine with me. So, and back then they did the wine glass pictures, but you can see the brown lips, how the eyebrows were really thin, and I had brown tones there. Today I like to color coordinate. I'm queen of color coordination, so I probably would have wore this color makeup back then if I was in today's time. So that's kind of an idea, and that's how my hair was. It was the feathery layered look. And after this, I started wearing this hairstyle, which I'm wearing one of the original hairstyles that I wore in high school. This is another picture. The picture quality is not that good because it's on the cell phone, but I was 16 here. That is not my daughter. That is my lovely niece. Um, I was 19 when I had my older daughter, and I tell young people today, please enjoy your life, travel, enjoy your friends, go out, have a good time, then get married and have children, because then you would have gotten to know you. You would have got to enjoy your life to the fullest. And now that you have to be responsible for a child, which is a big responsibility, and your mate, you're ready to do that. I mean, but life happens, you know. So if you have a baby young, I admire so many young mothers because they really take more responsibility sometimes than even older mothers. So no judgment here at all. I just happen to be blessed where I still think I was young, but I was 19 when I had my daughter. This is my niece. So you see the thin eyebrows and the browns. And this, I was just really getting up. This was in the morning when they brought my niece to the house. She was just born. So I didn't really have a lot of makeup on that day, but that's kind of an idea of how I looked. Yeah, so I'm really, really excited. So I took this challenge a step further. I not only wanted to do the original look that I did back then, but I wanted to find all the products that I used back then. So I took this challenge a little step further, and I was excited to find most of everything. So yeah, it was exciting. And some things, the packaging has changed, the colors have changed, stuff like that, but they're the original stuff. The name brands that we had back then were Maybelline, CoverGirl, Revlon. I think we didn't have no high ends like MAC and Urban Decay and none of that. None of that. No Kat Von D. No, nothing. I think the highest brand back then was Estee Lauder, which is still around. So, yeah. So I was CoverGirl because that's what was like the famous brand back there, the known brand, and the longevity that they have has been just incredible. That's why I don't like to use the drugstore because it is not true. These products are not exclusive to drugstore. And like I said, I don't know how that got started, but that's for another time. But they deserve, and I don't think any YouTuber means any malice or any disrespect. I think it just was called that way by one person and then kind of fiddled down like a domino effect. But for me, and you do whatever way you makes you comfortable to say it. You do you. That's how it goes sometimes. But just to me, because the longevity and the loyalty that I have towards these products, everybody knows that my favorite brand of makeup of all times, which is comparable and even better than MAC, to me is Revlon, especially the Color Stay line. I love its matte full coverage effect. I mean, just the quality. And so you have $27, $15. Let's do the math. So that's it's not only just my opinion, it's true. It's true. It's a fact. I've experienced it. I've tried every brand out there, being the age that I'm, every brand out there possible. And I did research on marketing. So, yeah, it's a true fact. Did my research, experienced it, and it's my opinion. So, but you do you. If you love MAC, and I have MAC and love MAC, no discredit to them, but they're not my favorite line of makeup. But if you love it, if you have a passion for it, you believe in it and you love it and you like it, please, please do you, because that's what I'm doing. So you got to do you. So anyway, I'm getting off topic here, but not really off topic, but kind of going into another story. So anyway, let's get started because I don't want my videos to be long. I tend to get excited talking to you guys and then I kind of forget. So I'm going to try to do this in the shortest time possible. So this is the brand that I used back then, the CoverGirl. It didn't have this white part. It was just a regular white top. It was shorter and the triangle was a little bit wider. We didn't have the shades now like number 545 or number 45 or W5 or cappuccino, banana, buttercup. We didn't have none of that. It was ivory, which I knew I wasn't because ivory was for people that were really, really white and pale. And then they had light, medium, and then maybe tan and a couple of others. So, yeah, so this was the original product. This is light or warm beige, which is where I was in at the time. I think it was light because I was between white. I'm a little bit darker now. I was between white, but not so much for ivory. So, and mostly everybody, and I'm pretty sure everybody, we didn't have the brushes or the spongy things to apply makeup. We did it with our hands. So that's the way I'm going to do it. And then we would just apply it. We would just go around. The only thing I do like about the fingers, it allows you to really feel the skin and the structure of your face at a closer range. So you could really get in those nicking crannies and really blend as good as possible. The only thing that worries me about doing it with your fingers is the streak marks or the handprint marks. But it worked back then. It worked perfectly. So yeah, this is exactly what I would do. Would go into my hairline a little bit all around, blend it in side to side. I would get my eyes there, and we would really rub it in. We meant business. I would not wear this brand of makeup right here. Not so much, well, the product, because I like heavy full coverage. I would only do a light fill if I'm going to run errands and just want a light fill, but have makeup on at the same time. But this wouldn't be the brands. There are other brands that can have that light feel to it, which to me is the True Match. But at the same time, True Match is not too light or too heavy. It's just the best blending brand out there. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, that's how I did the foundation. It just had like that Noxzema feel, like it feels almost like medicated. Not medicated, that's probably isn't the correct word, but it feels like that minty, fresh look. And so, it doesn't do the coverage that we have now. So, but some people still loved it and it works for them. Then I would get the same brand of powder and the same color to match the foundation. So, of course, the packaging is so much prettier. It was just like a black compact back then. And it just said CoverGirl. Didn't have all this matte choice. We didn't have that really wording choice like that. And so the compact was like this, and it came with a powder puff for you to apply it. So that's what I did. So then I would take it and again in the hairline, then over my face, under the eyes, and the cracks of the nose. And I have to really get in the crack because I have a piercing in my nose. So I would just go around. Same routine as the foundation, just going around it in powder. Using your powder puff. Now I use a brush. Thought my earring was coming off. And I would go down the chin, but not too far to the neckline like we do now, or like I do now. So that was it. Then we would do the blush, and the blushes were like this. Some of them were bigger compacts, but this is like the original I could find. I'm not for sure if it was LA Colors. I think it was CoverGirl. I didn't get the CoverGirl this time. I just had the LA Colors here, but I'm pretty sure it was either that or Maybelline. Come on. So this is the brush you wore. You didn't wear those MAC and Real Techniques and brushes like that. You just use the brush that came with the compact and you go back and forth. This part I hate because it's so small. I don't know how they thought that this covered your blush. And I was in the brown tones. Sometimes I would use the burgundy tone blush. And we would just do this. Just go back and forth in a swiping motion and do circular motions on the face to cover those cheekbones. And then we would take our fingers and then we would rub it in. So yeah, that's how we did the blush. And then for the eyebrows, we would do the concealer, which concealer was in something like this, if I remember correctly back then. It was in a lipstick form. It wasn't like the stuff you have now, the liquids and all the stuff back now. And I only did it up here. That's another thing, people. People do concealer before foundation. Because I don't know if they've been taught that way or told that way, but that's a myth. I already knew it because that's why it's called foundation and a base. You don't go build the house and then go, let me go back and build the floor. It's supposed to be foundation and concealer. I looked it up. I still did the research. It said, yes, indeed, that's the way it goes. But like I said, whatever makes you happy and comfortable. If it works for you that way, then yeah. And this is the only place that I would put concealer. Kind of just get any correctings, any places that were missed. And then the eyebrow pencil was this, Maybelline. And it's still around to this day. And I still use it. This is the all-time best eyebrow pencil out there. To this day, I wear, of course, I wear other stuff. I wear the pomades a lot, especially by Anastasia and Beauty Secrets. I wear bars. I wear all kinds of pencils, all kinds of stuff for my eyebrows. I do, but I always have these in my thing too. So if I ever want to do it, I do it. My eyebrows aren't as thin as they were back then, so it's going to be hard for me to do that part. We never outlined it and then shaded in and created the square thickness. We just shaded wherever the hair were, that's where we shaded in. So I can't make them thin, but I can certainly shade it in where the hairs are. I wore dark brown, of course, because my hair was dark brown. So yeah, the eyebrows were thinner. But I love because the consistency of this eyebrow pencil is stiff enough to be for the precision to be just perfect to do an eyebrow. It's not like some eyebrow pencils are too creamy and they come on too heavy, but yet it's smooth enough to do the job. I think this is the best of all times. I've mentioned this in other videos. So I'm going to try to go as thin as possible, but I'm going to go at the end because my eyebrows are not thin. So I'm going to do the end. I should have plucked my eyebrows. I got to do that today. But the point of it was, yes, it was thinner, as you can see from the pictures, but this is how I did it. There was no shaping out. We just went over the hairs. Shaded in the hairs. There was none of that other stuff. So we're going to make sure those hairs were shaded in. This is the only thing that's scary because I wasn't going to pluck my eyebrows just to make it thin and not go back for my real life today. And that's why I showed you the picture so you can see. But I wanted you to see that we didn't outline it or make it squared. It was just whatever your shape your eyebrow was, you just went over it with the pencil. So I love the product. I just don't like how we just shaded our eyebrows in. And of course, being thinner was easier because you just created that line. So I love that. So the eyeshadow that I wore back then was this. And they still have it. It's CoverGirl. You can barely see the initials. I've had this one for a long time. But I think the last few years they changed the packaging. They still have it, but now it's square. And then you can see the full name CoverGirl. Here it was just the CG in a circle. They still have the same quad, same exact products. Of course, they have more colors now, but they also have my colors that I used to use, which these two are the same. I don't know if you can see that. So they only had the browns. They didn't have my greens and pink tones at the store. Okay, so the original stuff. And we didn't have brushes for that either. We had, here I go again, not being prepared with opening packages. Oh, this isn't too bad. Oh, took the whole back off. So, yeah, that's the difference. It used to be rounder, but now it's just square. That's only different. And we were the compact applicators, the eyeshadow applicators that came with the eyeshadows. We didn't have the brushes that we have today. So we just use these. So I always did my base color. So I'm going to use that color right there. Actually, I'm going to use this color right here. And I always had a base color all over my lid. Oh my God, it's so hard to go back to these applicators. I hate them. When they come in packages, I'll keep them if I can. But most of the time I'll throw them away because I know I'm not going to use them. And sometimes I'll keep them, I'm like, just in case in an emergency and that's all I had. I'll keep the brush in there because I'm like that. You know, you never know what emergency. So that would be my overall lid. Under the brow where the brow bone is. Brow bone. I don't know, say bra like it's a bra, like a bra you wear. People tease me about it, especially my kids. And I have a friend, Miss Edith, next door that teases me. If I'll say bra instead of brow. But you guys know what I'm saying. You got me. You feel me. So yeah, I would cover the whole eyelid. All the way to where my eyebrows ended. And then I would use the other side of the applicator and go in with the shade that would go in the crease area, which is the darkest shade that they had, which would be this one. And then I would go in the middle. All in the crease upper lid area. God, it is so hard applying it with this small little applicator. It is crazy, crazy. Oh my God. Then I would make sure that whole mid area was covered from side to side. Then I would go to the other side and do the same. This is some crazy shit. Oh my God. And I could see myself in the mirror doing it like if it was yesterday. But I'm so glad we have a lot of stuff that we have now, especially when it comes to the brushes that have had that choice. And I don't know, maybe there were some brushes and maybe just celebrities or the famous people, you know, wore them. But I don't know. I was all around it and didn't remember seeing any brushes like we have today. So just kind of going over it, making sure it's there. And then I would take this end of the applicator and go back. Or I could take either that other side, go back to the base color. And that's how we blend it in. We would go over where the line ended. And then we go over on the bottom. So it had that blending effect. Same thing on the other eye. And on the top. And that's how we blended it. But I think I need more of the dark color. I didn't go too high over here like I used to do. And then blend it side. That's how we used our eyeshadow. And for eyeliner, I used the same thing. The same pencil that we used for our eyebrows, we used for our eyeliner, which was black though. I had the light brown for my eyebrow, the dark brown for my eyebrows, and I had the black for my eyeliner. And there was a certain way we used to do it. Okay, so even though now they tend to be just a tidbit smoother, because it's stiffer and the consistency is more precise, we had to burn it in order to put it in our waterline and make it more smoother and darker. So we would do that. Blow on it because we didn't want to burn our eyes out. And then we would get our waterline. Oh my God, this kind of went crazy. There we go. So we would take our waterline. Oh God. Whoa, this is kind of really thicker. Let me take some of that off and smooth it. So we would take it. And I wear my eyeliner in my waterline. I never did it on top of the eyelid or on the bottom. So I would go in. And it would make your eyes pop out. So I don't even think I have to burn this one. Because it's really... So we would do that. And I love putting it in my waterline. Because I notice with the eye colors that I have, hazel eye colors that I have, it would make my eyes pop out. It just made my eyes look so prettier. So I didn't do it on top and I didn't do it under the waterline. It was just exclusively in the waterline. And so that's it. And then the mascara was this one. It was the Maybelline great lash that's still around to this day. Oh my god, I'm so excited. I don't wear it now. My favorite is the L'Oreal. I told you guys I've been on a journey because I don't have long eyelashes to find the Miracle. Because I don't wear false eyelashes. I've never worn false eyelash. I tried it on once and it didn't work. I could put it on other people. But, and I want to just make myself really get into doing it, not give up on myself. So I've been in the journey of finding the Miracle mascara. And the only one I found that really works is the L'Oreal, which I love. And I use other ones too, but sometimes I have to double and triple coat it for my eyelashes to come out. So this is what it was. This was black. Yeah. Now they have berry black. I didn't think they had berry black back then. It was just black. So then I would take, kind of poke my eyelashes out and then just put it on. I didn't count back then because my OCD wasn't that bad. So I would just go across, applying and then I would go to the bottom. And just go in a back and forth motion. Same thing on this side. Just back and forth until the lashes popped out. See, this worked back then like nothing to it because my eyelashes were longer back then, but it is not working now. But that's how I go. And then I would go back to the other side. Just redo it because once it dried, once you went over it back to the side, they tend to come out even longer once it's had a little time to set in. But as you can see, it is not a great mascara. Does not work really good for me at all. I'm so glad we have evolved in that sense. Okay, that was it. Let me try to go one more time. I think I went a few times back then, but not really. Just to where I felt that the eyelash hairs popped out. That's how I would do it. Okay. So, I'm going to go back and get this out of here. See how it went in my eyes? Okay. It's still in there. I shouldn't worry about it until later. I know this is gross, but it's bothering me. Okay, there we go. So last but not least, oh my god. And then I used to use the eyelash curler a little bit more, and I think that's what I did. I would put on the mascara first, and then I would hold it for like 30 seconds back then. I almost forgot this part, but I would put my mascara on first because I didn't feel like my eyelashes would really curl back then if I did this first. And I remember thinking, wow, that's kind of crazy. And sometimes I would just open and close it just to get that bend in the eyelash. So yeah, I would do it after, and then sometimes I would go back and just touch it up a little bit. So if any of that mascara went on the eyelash curler, I was good. And then we also, sometimes we would, just bend. We would take our fingers and just bend the hairs of our eyebrows. So we would do that as well. Last but not least, my time is running out. I would just wear like a brown tone or either pink. Brown or pink were my lipsticks. I did not dare wear red or any of those colors. I thought it was just too much for me. So I was definitely into the browns and pinks. I'm going to do the browns now since the eyeshadow's brown. We didn't outline it, no lip liner. We just went according to the shape, and it was CoverGirl. Actually, yeah, I wore CoverGirl, but I'm using Avon because it had the color that I wore back then, the matching color. So, but I believe it was CoverGirl or Maybelline. No, CoverGirl, because, yeah, it was CoverGirl because it had the CG in the circle. But this is the color. And we would just go to the shape of our lips. No outlining them, no doubling up, no none of that. We would just go do our lips like that, and we were good to go. So that's how I used to do my makeup in high school. See, I love it. I love it. Other than, like I said, we have so many more options of brands and so many bold colors that I love that represents me, and so many more things. I love the way I did the look. The only thing I love now is, like I said, the brands and the color choices and the brushes. Because using these brushes are a pain in the rear end. I don't know how we even survived. But I love the look, the technique, the look that I did back then. It was like out there, but yet it was like warm and just natural. So, and I still wear a lot of this stuff. Like, I don't wear the foundation or that brand of things, but I wear those colors and those brands of lipstick. I have lipsticks of all brands. I still use compacts and a lot of times loose powders now. So a lot of stuff is in the same family, but a lot of stuff is also different. And the eyebrows, I don't wear that thin line eyebrows. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. And until my next video, thank you for watching.